Welcome to SubTropolis. This is the world's largest underground business complex. And as you can see, it is quite unusual. So this is carved into a former limestone mine beneath Kansas City, Missouri here. And I'm just going to drive through and show you what it's like. It's a very interesting place. I've never been anywhere like this before. This was a limestone mine dated back to the 1940s originally, and then Hunt Midwest Real Estate Development, founded by Lamar Hunt, who's also known for the Kansas City Chiefs, repurposed it into commercial space starting in the early 1960s and started leasing space commercially in 1964. Early tenants were corporate clients like Pillsbury, Russell Stover Candies, and Ford Motor Company. They kept increasing space over time, and they've continued expanding even today. I just decided to drive as far as I could in one direction. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to find in here, so I just started driving straight and thought I'd go until it would dead end. And you can see it kind of curves a little bit here and there. One thing I noticed was it was a cold day when I was exploring on this, and this is a Saturday, so not a normal weekday, probably busier during the weekday. But it was definitely cold out. But once I got a little bit into the facility, it was about 70 degrees and very nice. So I think that's one of the things, is they're able to keep a constant year-round temperature and reduces energy costs for tenants. Every once in a while you'll come to a kind of four-way stop here. The quote roads do have names, and it'll tell you where some of the businesses are located. And if you ever get lost, they have exit signs everywhere kind of directing you back out of the exit. But you can see there, go left, go straight, go right. It looks all the same. Some sources have noted there may be as much as 14 million square feet potentially usable space here. It's 10.5 miles of paved illuminated roads like the one that we're on right now. And sometimes the road's smooth, sometimes it gets bumpier, sometimes it looks like there's businesses kind of like over there on the left where those cars are, and then lots of empty spaces. More than 50 companies currently lease space in SubTropolis, and it's probably over 1,000 people that work here. I did see there was a post office that I'll try to visit later in the video. There's governments and agencies lease space in this area. A lot of distribution, logistics, manufacturing. So just kind of a random assortment of different companies that use SubTropolis. As I was driving around, I did feel like I was going to get lost. But like I said, they have those exit signs everywhere. But yeah, just unusual. It almost felt like a dead mall of sorts. It was a very extreme dead mall. I could see this being in some sort of a video game somewhere. But maybe somebody could comment about during the week how busy it is. It certainly wasn't busy. I just saw a couple people here and there. You can see there, as I turn the camera to the left, you can see how sometimes there's ramps or docks, and there's doors that go, I'm guessing, into offices. But yeah, just kind of driving around, not finding too much. I'd been driving far enough straight and I got to where it says dead end there if you keep going straight. So I decided to turn to the left, check out a different part of SubTropolis. But it looks pretty much the same as what I've been driving through. I didn't have any cell phone service once I got on in to SubTropolis quite a ways, so I couldn't pull up any maps to try to figure out where some of the businesses were. Obviously, they had some signs posted on the wall. But if you want to explore, I would say to maybe print out a map. There are maps available online, kind of show you what the roads are. But I just decided I'll just randomly drive around, and sometimes you see things like that just kind of on the side. And just once again, it's just an unusual place to drive around and explore. I've heard they have some type of road races here. A buddy of mine has run here before, so that would be an interesting 5K or 10K. As we turn on to Middle Creek, it kind of looked like there were more cars down in this area. So looking for that post office. And they'd have the little advertisement for SubTropolis there on the wall. You can see how some of the places are just kind of unfinished, I guess. And there's, no lights back in some of the areas. And you can just kind of wander around and drive around and check them out if you want. What a strange place. they even have a post office. It's crazy how shiny and clean this is here. Just interesting. I have no cell phone service. I have no idea where I'm at in this place. Now that we found our post office, we'll start to finish up the trip. Just trying to find more businesses and check out what they look like. Nothing too, really interesting here, but just the whole thing is very unusual. So the whole thing is interesting, but there's not like a lot of interesting businesses, like you would think at a mall or something like that. So but just driving around and getting lost and finding the exit signs and making your way back is the fun of exploring SubTropolis. Here at Hush Puckney Road, looks like another place you can drop off or pick up mail. This is not too far from the main entrance. We went in, I guess, one of the two entrances that there are. And so this is not too far from the main entrance I showed you at the beginning of the video. And you can see some mailboxes there, and you can drop off your mail right there. And right there in front of us, that's where you could enter or exit. You can see it getting brighter from the natural light out there. So before we exit, I want to check out one last road here. This is probably kind of the main offices here. There's a SubTropolis van. That's pretty cool. And then there's Hunt Midwest. I mentioned Lamar Hunt, the person that kind of started putting all this together and one of the owners of the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, there's not much back here, just a couple office areas and turning around and heading back out. They also have some signs here. Looks like they have a little bit of a mascot that gives some information about SubTropolis. 14 million square feet, 2,000 people working each day. Talks about the 70-degree and overcast every day. And there's the mention of the runners. So Underground Run. Pretty cool mural. Never thought I'd find a mural in SubTropolis. And that's the visit as we head back outside onto the main street. Very unique. I'd recommend checking it out if you like stuff like that. Hope you enjoyed cruising around SubTropolis in Kansas City, Missouri.